drill down into, what took place,
Hmm.
what did you see, etc. I think that's really the starting place, because when you're talking about radical behavior or extremists, and an encounter took place that radically changed them,
Hmm.
and you get that kind of outcome, uh complete turnaround.
Hmm.
I don't know any other government program on the market with such
Yeah,
effect.
yeah, I would agree with you. It's it fascinated me so much that I do a lot of studying on this, and I really, I felt sorry for the military guys that came out and originally started talking about this. Um, you know, we were told to keep our mouth shut about some of this stuff. Just because and we weren't told because it was some deep secret. We were told keep your mouth shut or people are going to think you're nuts. Just like when I was a kid. Um, we lived in a house that was built in 1904. Okay, but it stood on the site of another house that had been built in the 1800s, and tremendous um, paranormal activity. A lot of death and destruction occurred there. There was, later on as we moved, as my grandparents bought the house, we found out there were several people that had died in the house, and one woman was brutally murdered in the kitchen. Another man was found dead, outside, and these were all crimes, committed by people, not ghosts, not UFOs or anything like that. But as a small child, I can remember, and I'm talking 5 or 6 years old, maybe a little older, maybe 10, um, seeing what I thought were two eyes looking at me in the dark, um, and and a door that would just open on its own from time to time. It was kind of a spooky thing for me, and but my grandmother, very religious lady. She would just, when I say religious, not fanatical religious, but she's Christian. And she would say, in the name of Jesus Christ, I cast down all demons. And she would go through the house and say these things, and you wouldn't see anything for a while. And she would do that, and she said, there's something evil that's happened here, but there are spirits that are wandering around. She believed in that, um, because they had unfinished business, or there was the crime was not, they didn't catch the person who did it, or whatever. But the funny thing is, we started doing some remodeling in that house, and we tore out a fireplace, a mantle on the fireplace, and there was a letter that was behind that fireplace, and I've still got that letter. It's at my house, and there was all kinds of other, old cards and old prohibition literature from the 1920s, and it goes on and on and on. But there was a letter in there that talked about this murder, and talked about losing their daughter, and in that letter there was this. Um, they said that there was a box that was buried that had some of her childhood items, because she was very young when that happened. I think she was 16. She was murdered by somebody that was working on the railroad when they were bringing the railroad through. And there was a box that had all of her things in it, marbles and little trinkets and things that little girls would keep. And it was actually buried behind some bricks in the foundation of the house, and we went out and we found it. And I have that to this day, and I should take pictures of those items, but there's a connection to items, and there's a connection to people. And you're right, I've had different experiences and paranormal things, things that people can't explain. Um, my whole survival in two wars, especially the last one, is just, you know, I mean, we rolled through two triple stacked IEDs. We got hit by, and these are 155 millimeter artillery rounds. Okay, so you got 6 of those things that went off under a bridge. Should have dropped and collapsed the bridge right on us and killed all of us, but it didn't. We ended up getting a few scratches and busted out windows and some bleeding ears, but rolled out the other end and was able to complete our mission. Didn't even bust a tire. Okay. So while we got shot at and while I got hit a lot, it wasn't fatal. But one day we all die. I'm not of this belief that I'm indestructible, but I am of this belief that I was being protected for a greater purpose. And maybe it's this purpose here to inform people of factual things. I don't know, but God has